Hello students, this is Tutor Sun from SJAC. From this lesson, we're going to look over the entire exam of TOEFL and compare TOEFL to IELTS, which is its competitor, right? And so make sure you can make a right decision when it comes to choosing a right English exam for you. Finally, we're going to help you to build a strategic planning to prepare for your exam. So let's go ahead and get started. So TOEFL IBT tests your ability to understand and use English for academic purposes, meaning can you speak English in campus? College, when you go to college, can you communicate, right? So think about that carefully. So TOEFL, overall, it's going to be a computer-based exam, meaning you are going to go to computer lab to take an exam. First part is usually going to be the reading section. So reading section tests your ability to understand reading passages like those in college textbooks. So it could be psychology, biology, history, it could be from any college subjects. There are 3 passages on a short format and 4 passages on a long format. After each passage, you will answer 12 to 14 questions about it. So in terms of the listening, it tests your ability to understand spoken English that is typical of interactions and academic speech on college campuses. During the test, you will listen to a conversation, lectures, and discussions and answer questions about them. There are 2 conversations, 2 lectures, and 2 discussions on a short format, and 3 conversations, 3 lectures, and 3 discussions on a long format. For the speaking section, it tests your ability to communicate in English in an academic setting. During the test, you'll be presented with 6 speaking questions. The questions ask for a response to a single question, a reading passage with a conversation, and reading passage and a lecture, and conversation or lecture. In terms of the writing section, it tests your ability to write an essay in English similar to those that you would write in college courses. So you will write 1 essay about academic topics and 1 essay about familiar topics. All right, so let's check it out, the differences between TOEFL and IELTS, because this is a question that a lot of my students ask. So in terms of the cost, IELTS is going to be $214 to $245, really depending on where you live. But TOEFL in US, which I checked literally day before I presented this information to you, it was $205. So TOEFL is a little bit cheaper. In terms of the speaking section, IELTS, you get to talk to an actual real person. So you get to sit down on a table with your interviewer and you'll be interviewee, and then they'll ask you questions. TOEFL, you'll be recording on the computer. So it's going to be like a screen and you record yourself. In terms of the length, IELTS will be 2 hours. TOEFL is a 3 hour. I put 4 hours in here because before TOEFL used to be 4 hours, they went down to 3 hours. Test score is a median range versus the needed score. So IELTS average score of the IELTS test taker usually receive 5.5. But in order to go to graduate school or undergraduate in US, you need to get around 6.5. That's purely the average score that you need. For TOEFL, average score of the test takers were 82. But the needed score for the college is 80. So, it's really up to you which one you feel comfortable to take it. Do you like real person or not? Think about the cost. And also the length. But also your score, right? So think about all of those factors and make a wise decision on those. In terms of the steps to success, to get ready for TOEFL, of course, you first want to inform yourself about the test. You have to educate yourself well about the test. I would highly suggest that you go to TOEFL website, ETS and TOEFL, and then kind of start learning about the test. And second, I want you to develop your study plan. So there is a PDF document that I created for my students. You will be able to download after this video on our SJAC website. But, truly you have to think about how you're going to prepare for the exam and how you're going to study for it, okay? And also you need to take practice exams. Definitely evaluate your strengths and weaknesses for it, right? And please take your test when you're ready. Be realistic. Just because you feel confident that you can speak English doesn't mean that you can actually ace it, right? So think about it, prepare it, take a 3 to 4 practice exam before you register yourself into it. So let's talk about a couple of the questions that students usually have. So first, what is a good TOEFL score? I would say the good TOEFL score is a score that you need to reach to get into the graduate or undergraduate school. Usually it's going to be 82 to 90. But if you have 100 to 120, which is a perfect score, by the way, 120, it means you really do have an excellent score, right? So I would say you should feel pretty confident when you get around 94 to 95, okay? How about a TOEFL score and English proficiency? So in terms of that, relationship, whether you can, if you get a high score in TOEFL, does that mean that you can speak and write well in English? Well, there is not always a direct correspondence between the proficiency in English and a score on TOEFL. Many students who are not proficient in English are not proficient in how to approach the examination. That's exactly why it's important for you to prepare TOEFL through these lessons, okay? What's going to be on the score reports? So this is another common question that my students ask. The score report includes your scores for each sections of the test and your total TOEFL score, as well as a statement explaining the typical performance skills of the test takers with the same score. The report does not include scores for the test that you have taken previously. So it's just going to be your current score. May I cancel my scores? That's another question that a lot of my students ask. If you choose to report your score, you will choose 4 institutions or agency or colleges to receive the score reports. All of this is arranged by responding to questions on the computer screen at the end of the TOEFL exam. If you want to cancel the score, then you can click cancel when you see this option appear on the screen. So simple as that, right? How long are my scores valid? Your score are valid for 2 years after the test date. So that's it for the day. Please visit our lesson page to download your TOEFL study planner, which I made it for you guys so you can go ahead and plan for your exam. And for the next lessons, we'll study reading and writing and also listening strategies. So I'll come back for the next lessons. See you soon. Bye.